Forgot to do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN podcast. This is podcast number 99, one away from 100. And I'm, of course, your guy, Danny, as always, joined by my three cohorts, as always, starting off with my main man, Steph. Steph, what's good, bro?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good after a tough win against Gil Vicente 2-1 and today's win against Paços de Ferreira. Let's not forget they in fair place, only 3 points away from Portuguese boy Benfica. What a great feeling. Our team is amazing. We'll talk more in detail about it. I'm feeling great. I can complain. 10 points away from the second place, 11 points away from the third place, and 13 points away from Portuguese boy Benfica. I'm feeling really good, I would say.
Same here. Even though it's -10 outside, so is Porto. So it's all good, baby. Also joined by my man, Christian. Christian, what's good, bro?
No complaints, like Steph. Uncharted waters, feels good. We'll get into it, but yeah, exciting day for sure.
Agreed. Last but not least, also joined by my man, Sam, from across the pond. Sam, what's good, dude?
I mean, I finished work half an hour ago. It was a long day, but Sporting definitely cheered me up. So with 10 points ahead, I'm happy. Nothing to complain about.
Couldn't agree more. Let's get straight into the Twitter questions here. Give me one sec. Starting off with our boy all the way from, I believe, Finland or Sweden. He told me and I already forgot. I believe it's Finland, though.
I think
our
it's
boy,
Finland,
Petri. I think it's
That's
Finland,
awesome.
Yeah. I think he said he had Swedish heritage or something. Anyways, his question was, for how long should we have patience for Paulinho? In my opinion, he shouldn't have been starting directly. Instead, practicing to learn the team dynamics and tactics. Another game of Paulinho not starting. Sam, I'll give it to you first. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, you can't have a record signing and not start. It's just the principle. No matter who it is, if they're the record signing, they need to play. They need to start straight away. And Paulinho hasn't scored yet, but I think he does a lot of other things well. I think he just needs a bit more time. The confidence is there. That back heel shot he had earlier was literally inches of going in. It was a great save. But he just needs time. And I know, like I said, he's a record signing, so you can't bench him. He needs to make an instant impact. That's what they're for. You don't spend. I can't remember how much it was. Was it 12 million in total at the moment?
I think it's 13.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't spend 13 million on a player, especially if you're Sporting and not play them. But I mean, I feel impressed by him. He's not got that goal, but I think he does a lot of build-up things well and like holds the ball very well. He's confident and it's good to see, but I think he should remain starting for now.
I agree. I'll add on. Let me add on to this. Should we start worrying that he still doesn't have a goal? It's 3 games now, no goal. He's been subbed off, I think, on all 3 games.
I think it's 7 if you date back to his Braga.
Yeah. So should we start to panic?
No.
As long as I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
No. It's just a matter of time, really.
I think he should have hit the PK debate today, to be honest, but
he missed the last PK with Braga, so it was.
I just wanted him to score and get it off his back.
Yeah, no. I mean, maybe if it was like a PK in the second.
Well, that's also why I kind of wanted him to keep playing today, because I thought maybe he would eventually score if he kept playing today, but he took him off. So I think it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
I agree. That back heel he almost scored too it also came from a back heel pass. The guy loves a back heel. I think he has at least one every game so far for us. Next question comes in from our girl Lauren at Lauren Yano on Twitter. She asks, great win against a tough Paços side. Portuguese Stefano Eustáquio, he's Canadian, had a great game for them. We need him at Sporting. Thought the all-around performance was very solid. Great, got the job done again. 10 points clear. Sporting, top of the league. Agreed, Lauren. Couldn't agree more, except for the Stefano Eustáquio part, being Portuguese. I don't know what you're talking about. Next question comes in from our guy Abdallah at Abdarmuti92, all the way from Jordan. He asks, no guests this week. Do you think I should start saving money for May, or COVID got or does COVID got other plans for us? Personally,
that's
I
up to
think
COVID, man.
Yeah, I don't know about what the restrictions are in Jordan. I don't think COVID is gonna work out all that well for me, to be honest. And then our boy Alfred Kerensky, with that beautiful GIF. Next question that I'm gonna actually ask all of you guys, but I'll start with Steph. It's from our boy Sid at Swaj_Sidonio. He asks, just hope nothing comes out of Palhinha against SL Benfica. Steph, should we be worried? I know we talked about this last podcast too, but more news keeps coming out about the Palhinha situation, of course, of us playing him. The fifth yellow card, I guess, still has yet to be decided. Should we be worried that we're about to lose points, especially seeing that he scored today?
No, of course not. This is all. And if you are Benfiquista and Portista, it kind of makes sense. Not literally the fans. This is not on the fans at all. It's more on their administration. So Benfica is 13 points away from us. Porto is 10 points away from us. So why wouldn't you create this mess and this ugliness if you're doing poorly? You want the attention to divert to Sporting instead of to them. But all you gotta do is go to the Benfica official sites, and then even some Portistas they've come to realize that it's not only about the referees; it's a lot to do with the shitty team they have, and the poor coaching. And the Sergio Conceição, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he thought he had a great team. He actually does not, and he cannot for some reason motivate his team. So Palhinha, coming back to the question itself, if you listen to the people you're supposed to listen, which are lawyers, which are people that know what they're talking about, everyone says there's nothing. And then it looks like that the SCD, Conselho de Disciplina, they took a 360 degree, and they admitted that yes, they should have a panel to analyze all the plays before they announced the suspensions. So they kind of saying, Sporting, we agree with you, in a nutshell. So I wouldn't worry a bit about it. It's all bullshit. And even if they deducted 8 points from us, we'll still be champions.
Yeah, that's true. Long as we keep on winning, that's true.
But jokes aside, no, legally there's nothing they can fuck with us at all. Listen to the little articles when they say juristas, advogados. That's the interesting ones from the different newspapers, ou a Bola, ou o Jogo, ou Jornal Notícias, or o Record. Look for those news. Don't look so much for the big fucking silly manchettes from thrown in by Record or Bola just to please the Benfiquistas and Portistas and distract them, basically. They're distracting them because they're having such a poor season. Yeah,
agreed. Chris or Sam, I don't know if you guys want to add on to that.
No, I think Steph got most of it. I'm not too worried.
Agreed.
I will say just, I agree with Steph, and really it's going to be nothing to happen, but you have to remember that it's Porto and Benfica. If they ask the government to do something, they'll do it. So, I mean, legally, there's nothing they can do, but I've not had faith in the justice system in Portugal for a long time, especially when it comes to football. So, we shall see. I agree with Stefan. Hopefully, he's right.
I mean, they would have to do something very, very unprecedented because he's played in 3 games now, past it, 3 or 4.
Exactly.
So,
Well, the thing is that they would have to change the law, but they can't.
and they would have
They
to
can't.
honestly, they would have to relegate Sporting, because that's remember the Gil Vicente back in 2007, they used an ineligible player, and then they got relegated. I guess there's a non-zero chance that we're relegated, right? But I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, but the thing what Sporting did was all within the parameters of the law.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
It happens in American sports all the time. It's normal to play while you're appealing in a system.
Believe me, this is all a distraction. It's a diversion.
Yeah, they got nothing else going on for them.
Because if Porto and Benfica were doing great, they wouldn't even
exactly.
no one would give a shit. But since we're in first place and it's been 19 years since the Sporting caused a lot of headaches for those two clubs, all of a sudden it's a fucking problem. There's no problem. Palhinha is playing and he's playing well, and we'll be fine. Agreed.
Just out of curiosity, so if there's still a possibility he might miss a game, though, right?
Yes. So
he's gonna miss the game this weekend.
O conselho de disciplina, if it's been put together. The decision should be this week. So if they say, it was worthy of the 5th yellow card as of today. So let's say today's the 15th. So then he would miss the Portimonense game, and then he would start from square zero.
Right.
So hopefully.
And if they give it that he doesn't have, that it wasn't worthy of a yellow, then he's back on 4 yellows?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening.
Do I understand that correctly?
That's correct. That's correct.
You got it. Yep.
But I don't see them taking the yellow away. That would really make it I don't think they're gonna go there,
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully we'll find out this week, and they'll miss the game against Portimonense and not the game against Porto.
But Portimonense is Porto nowadays, so for who finishes top 3, I'll ask all of you guys. I'll start, and I'm gonna go Sporting first. We go Sporting. Benfica second, Porto third. Steph, how about you?
Say it again, because you kind of you had hiccups.
I cut off
from your connection.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah, you're good now. But I couldn't hear what you said initially.
So he asks the prediction for. He asked for the prediction for top 3. My top 3 is Sporting in first, Benfica in second, and Porto third. What are yours?
Mine is going to be, of course, Sporting first. I'm going to say Braga second and Porto third, and Benfica is out of the top 3.
Ooh. How about you, Sam?
Sporting first, hopefully. Don't want to jinx anything. And I think it's going to be just based on current form, Porto Sporting. I don't think Braga's at that step to take second place yet. I think they'll be close to the top 3, but I don't think they're going to make it. I think it's Porto, Benfica, and Braga.
Fair enough. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I don't. It'd be nice if Braga snuck into the third and then got into the playoff, and Benfica was into the Europa League in fourth, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. So, Sporting, Porto, Benfica.
Agreed. All right, let's get right into the Gil Vicente game. Sporting with last-minute drama beating Gil Vicente away 2-1. Let me quickly give you guys the Gil Vicente lineup if my computer doesn't start freezing. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
So while you do it, I'm going to answer the question from Philippe Resina de Almeida. So if Palhinha is shown a 6 yellow card, basically when the decision comes, and if they say Palhinha will be suspended 1 game, he'll be suspended 1 game, and then you'll have the 6 yellow card, which will count for the next game. If they say no, it was canceled, then he's still going to be suspended because he has a 6 yellow card, and that will become the 5th yellow card.
Sorry, I'm just trying to handle my shit here.
It is confusing, though.
All right, there it is. You guys see that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so our lineup was as followed. We had then in net, we had Luis Neto, Sebastian Coates, and Fidel in the back line with Porto and Antunes on the wing-back position. Midfield of Mateus Nunes and João Palhinha. Nuno Santos, Pot, and Paulinho up front. Christian, I'll start off with you. What were your thoughts on this game, dude?
Yeah, I mean, this was probably the most in doubt game that we've played in a while. I mean, that's a poor way to word it. I mean, there have been several games that have certainly been in doubt, but we were actually behind in this one. We haven't really been behind. We've been tied. We've been in close games. Even against Benfica and those games, we were never behind. We were only behind in the Porto game in the Taça da Liga when we had a miracle comeback. Basically, we did the same thing again when we had a miracle comeback in the end. I guess the details of this game. First half was we dominated the first half of the first half, didn't score. They had their chances in the second half of the first half. It was very, very balanced, and they ended up getting their goal as a result. I think it probably deserved to be tied at half 1-1, but we were behind. And Amorim did what he had to do in the second half. He honestly yanked Antunes and Neto out of there, and he put more offensive-minded players in. And I thought that Bragança, Inácio, Tomas, Mario, Mateus Reis, literally everyone that came on, I thought improved the game. And we just basically dominated them in the second half. Saved it for very, very late, but it was once we scored the first goal with enough time left, it felt like we definitely had a good chance to win. And the fact that it was Coates, those are two very Coates goals. He's scored identical goals to both of the goals that he scored in the past. The volley that he just slices, deadly, and the classic header. It's incredible, honestly, how much of a threat he is when he goes up top, in the last 5 minutes. It actually works, a lot of the time. It's got a pretty high success rate, given, you're just throwing a center back up top. But, yeah, I mean, it was truly, truly remarkable game. It felt like, again, another week where our rivals are dropping points before us. We know, we're behind, and then we have the miracle comeback. It must be really demoralizing to be the other teams looking up at us to watch that game, because it's these bastards are finally going to fucking lose. Finally. Nope. So, yeah. I guess I want to also shout out Mateus Nunes' performance as well. I thought he was really good. And Porto, and obviously Coates. Those are the guys that I thought really stood out.
Fair enough. Sam, what were your thoughts, dude?
Well, Chris pretty much nailed it there. But if you look at the stats, it doesn't really show what the game was. I mean, it was a bad game for I think for the whole team. No one stood out to me bar Coates on that last in terms of starters. I mean, in the whole game. Obviously, when Bragança and Mateus Nunes they played okay. But especially Bragança when he came on. I look at the stats though. We only had 5 shots on target and a total of 21 total shots, and I mean that just needs to improve. But it was one of them games, like Chris said. I genuinely thought it was going to be another repeat of Rio Ave. We know we could have a chance to go ahead, and we fuck it up. because that's what we're used to. That's what we've always done. But it was really good that I think I just saw a comment. I think it was by Paul who said he didn't throw in the towel. He made changes, and I know every time I'm on here I say the same thing. But it's like managers before would have given up, but he made the changes that made us win. You can argue the team selection starting 11 was a bit strange, but when he brought on the players that needed to be brought on, I know everyone wants Braganza to have more game time, more starts. But off the bench, Braganza is someone we need when we're stuck for creativity, when we need an opportunity. I think that's when, for the moment, I'm not talking about in all time, but Braganza comes on and he creates chances. Inacio comes on, and even for a centre-back, he creates chances. But Captain Coates, what a man. All I'm going to say to end it off is just, I've talked my shit about Coates on here, on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever. No longer. I don't care if he scores like a trillion own goals, then I'm not going to slate him ever again.
Fair enough, bro. And sooner or later, I'm going to get you to say the same thing about Thiago Tomas, bro. I believe in the kid. Steph, what were your thoughts, dude?
I mean, Chris and Sam pretty much they nailed it. But the first half, Gil Vicente played better. They could have been up by 2-0. I wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been a shocker. But you know what? Hey, they didn't score the second goal. Being down 1-0 was actually not bad at all, to tell the truth. And then the second half, Sporting, they gave it all. Like we say in the Portuguese gíria, o Ruben Amorim pôs a carne toda no assador, and that's what he did. He gambled, and it paid off. And the substitutions he made were necessary, and he put them with enough time, not at the last minute, because sometimes coaches they make substitutions at the last minute, hoping the game will change, not even giving those players enough time to warm up. So good call by Ruben Amorim. The win is on him. I'm going to give it to him, the MVP, by the way, for the Gil Vicente game. Even though, of course, Coates was the MVP, and what a phenomenal game by him after his friend killed himself, and he was full of emotions playing that game. Great captain. But to wrap it up, we deserve to win the game more because of the second half than the first half, because the first half was all Gil Vicente. But the second half, and that's what I love about these small teams. And I'm glad Gil Vicente lost, because a game of soccer or football should be played to win all the time. You should never just be satisfied with the 1-0 and drop the lines. And that's what Gil Vicente did. And I'm glad they got spanked and they lost at the last minute, because the game of football is a beautiful game when you play to win the game, not to play so defensively. I don't like when Mourinho makes his teams play defensively. I hate that kind of game. I'm not a fan of that. I know Sporting has done that before in the past, and I never liked it against Real Madrid and so on. But good game, good win, and we deserved it because of our perseverance and because we never gave up and we gave it all until the last minute. O jogo acaba só quando o árbitro apita. And I was just afraid that the goal from Coates will be disallowed by the VAR. We've seen that before at Famalicão, which those 2 points, they still stuck in my throat, because now technically it should be 12, 13, and 15. The difference between the other teams, if they didn't rob us of those 2 points. And I don't even want to talk about the PK that they stole from us against Porto, because we could have missed the PK. But those 2 points, they stole it from us, and it could be a bigger distance. So to wrap it up, really, we deserve to win, and I'm glad we did the way we did. It's a big spanking against teams like Gil Vicente that don't play to win the games, but they play an ugly game for that one little point. Great win, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I'll just quickly add, because I didn't end up watching this game, just the highlights. But I want to add on to something I said last week with Rui. It's the mentality of this team that I'm loving of what Ruben Amorim is instilling in us. And he said it before. He said it again on Gil Vicente. We played to the final whistle. These guys know the game's 90 minutes. And I think Sporting teams in the past would have sort of given up after the 80th minute, after a few chances. I know Tiago Tomás roofed it at like the 50th, 60th minute. Paulinho had a chance in the 80th minute that went a bit wide. And I think those, past Sporting teams, they would put their heads down. But this one, I don't know, man. We like Steph said, we persevered. And when I left work and it was 1-1, I went on Instagram Live because I had a feeling. I knew we would win it. And yeah, so thank you, Sporting. Thank you, Ruben Amorim, for that. Steph already said his MVP is Ruben Amorim. I'm going to actually agree with you. I'll give it to Ruben Amorim and Coates because Coates does deserve a lot of mention as well. Like you mentioned, his brother, entre aspas, did kill himself. So, definitely a tough week for Coates. So only deserving that he scored the 2 to help us win the game. Sam, Chris, who are your MVPs of the game?
I think it's like one of those where it's like obviously Coates is the MVP, but secondary MVP, I'm gonna give it to Bragança. Came in, changed the game, changed the tempo. We looked very dynamic. He was, driving the offense. I loved it. So he's my MVP, like little MVP in lowercase letters.
Your secondary.
How about you, Sam?
Yeah, I agree with Chris, but I'll also add Inacio into that. I thought he played pretty well. But no, for me, it can't be anyone other than Coates. And like you guys said, Amorim. But for me, it's Coates.
Agreed. All right, let's get into today's game. I don't think there's anything else to mention on the Gil Vicente game. Today's game, of course. Sorry, go.
On that, Gil Vicente's goalkeeper was incredible until the last 10 minutes. I don't know what happened.
Man. Dennis the Menace.
Incredible. But then he just turned into like Sevilla in like the last 10 minutes. But no,
I loved seeing Portistas crying over the frango. Like, frangos don't happen on a daily basis. And like the field wasn't wet and he wasn't expecting the ball to bounce up a bit higher, That was
unlucky, man. Yeah,
you know what? You know what I love the most? It's when they were given 2 PKs and they still missed one. That's what I love the most. Que vão todos para o caralho, meu. Vão todos para o caralho.
Epa, até falei mal. O meu MVP, it isn't Coates, it isn't Ruben Amorim, it's Antero Henriques. Thank you for scoring those 2 goals, bro. And we'll get into that.
Listen, they were given 2 PKs. What else do you want? I mean, seriously? Score the PKs. I mean, that was a handball. Some Portista was arguing with me, saying, "Foi de raspão na mão." So it's a PK, you idiot. It's raspão na mão. Maybe he doesn't know the meaning of raspar a mão. Raspar means barely touching his hand, but he touched it. That's why the goal was canceled. But the Portistas, they make up their own rules. And then they misspell basta. They meant to say bosta.
The Basta boys.
The bosta, not basta. You know what's bosta, right? You guys no? Sam, do you know what bosta means? It means a pile of shit. Yeah, bosta in Portuguese means a pile of shit. But anyway, I don't sympathize with Portistas that when they were given 2 PKs and they still crying about losing the game. Score the fucking PKs at least. I mean, 1 PK was a PK against Francisco Conceição. That was a PK. By the way,
one they missed.
Yeah. By the way, I do like the kid. I'm not gonna say, but the kid. Why do I like the kid? Because he's a great player, and he came from our academy.
Yep. Say it again, Steph. Where did he come from?
From the Sporting Academy. But he's a good player. The first PK. The first PK was not a PK. Holy shit!
No.
If that's a PK, we're gonna see a lot of PKs every fucking weekend.
Agreed. I even seen today, before we get into this game, somebody say SCP só com penaltis. A portista say that as if they're not leading the league with 11 penalties.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like it's rich come from them. You know.
I mean, they lost the PK shootouts to us every time. It's just
It hurts. I get
it's
it.
a really
real.
sensitive subject for them. Just penalty kicks in general.
I know, but Chris, they missed a PK, so they should be upset at who? Sergio Oliveira.
He's the second leading scorer in the league at this point. He's got like 9 goals. I bet like 7 of those are PKs. I mean, he's the only guy that's got a shot to catch Gonçalves. He's got to hit those PKs, man.
Who was the referee again? I forget his name. I
already forgot.
I forget his name.
Mota?
Yes, era Mota. Mota, he has a talho. You guys do know he's a butcher. So he has a talho. So because he doesn't want a butchery. So because they don't want the Super Dragões to damage his butchery again, because they do it all the fucking time. So he even gave them 2 PKs. I'm like, leave my butchery alone, you motherfuckers. And they couldn't score the second PK. And the Portistas being fucking idiots. You know what FCP stands for? Fruta, corrupção e putas. These motherfuckers, instead of being upset as Sergio Oliveira, because he's the one who missed the PK, they're upset at the fucking referee, still saying that the first goal was scored off a corner kick that didn't exist. But instead of being upset at the defense, which they did mark the Boavista striker, a corner kick is a corner kick. You should be upset at your fucking defense, not at the corner kick that didn't exist. It's unbelievable, these Portistas. I'm from the north of Portugal. I'm even ashamed to say that because I have no association to these guys. I would never be a Portista. I would be embarrassed to be a Portista because they're so corrupted. Anyway, I respect the institution, but the administration, and you keep on electing Pinto Costa, which is the most corrupt president in Portugal. I have no respect for you guys, no respect whatsoever, because you had a choice to pick another president, but you like corruption. You keep electing him because you like corruption. You agree with corruption.
And that same sentiment goes to our neighbors in Lisbon as well.
Oh yes,
it's just it's not fun to pick on them when they're all so sad. It's.
But at least they're being respectful. They're fighting the Palhinha thing. But I get that actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I get what Benfica is doing. They want to they want to know. Hey, from this point on, how should it be? I get that. I get it actually. Because when you look into detail why Benfica is doing it, they're just saying, "Hey, could you explain to all of us how is it going to be done from this point on?" So I get that. Because I think Sporting would have done the same thing.
I agree. Okay, let's get into today's game. A big 2-0 win at home. We had a Zananet, Inácio Coates and Fidel with Porro and Nuno Mendes on the wingback position. We had João Palhinha and João Mário in the midfield with Tiago Tomás, Paulinho, and Pot up top. Steph, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on this game?
Today's game, I was home and I had the time to actually watch the whole game. And Paços de Ferreira is a very good team, a very good coach. They know how to play soccer. They know how to control the midfield, but they couldn't create any opportunities of goal. I think they had maybe. He had one on the side of the goal. Mm-hmm. That was the closest one. Oh, and towards the halftime, they had a good chance that Adan saved. But besides that, Sporting basically controlled the game. The PK was a PK. It's an obvious PK because shoulder against shoulder. it's not a foul, but that was a shoulder against his back. So a good call to PK. The second goal was onside. It was not offside. I mean, the Sporting TV, they replayed it several times, and you could see it was onside by 101 centimeters. So no question about the second goal either. The only questionable thing was, I think, 2 PKs, one against Sporting and one against Paços de Ferreira that possibly were missed by the VAR. One was the Coates play, which he swept the player when he tried to challenge him when he took the shot, and that then saved it. That could have possibly been a PK. And then another one was against Paços de Ferreira on the Nuno Mendes play, which you could see him stepping and you could see his ankle turning, and that was an obvious PK in favor of Sporting. And then they were questioning 2 plays with the second yellow card, one against Fedal and one against the Paços de Ferreira player, which I think it was Borrachinho, something like that, a funny name. Baixinho, that's it.
Rubacho.
No, Rubocho. For Rubocho. Rubocho. They said he should have, because of the criteria the referee was using for this game, Narciso, he was being too aggressive with yellow cards. If he kept on using the same criteria throughout the whole game, then Fedal should have gotten the second yellow card, and Rubocho should have gotten the second yellow card. But even the commentators on Sporting TV said they shouldn't have been yellow cards regardless. But Narciso was being too aggressive with yellow cards, which he kind of stopped in the second half because he kind of sensed, if I'm going to show yellow cards all the fucking time, each team's going to end up with 7 against 7 or something. It's going to be a volleyball game. So he kind of he did take it easy, and then he let the game be. And I think the total fouls were 43 fouls, which is enormous. It's too much. Let them play, for God's sake. Watch the Premier League, the British League, and learn something from them. I mean, Jorge Jesus, I know they were making fun of him the way he did it on the conference. Like, he's stuck on the wood. That was funny. But I agree with Jorge Jesus. I do. In that aspect, I agree. The Portuguese league loses a lot when we have players by feeling a light touch. They fell on the ground and it looks like they broke 2 legs, and here comes the ambulance. It's not helping the Portuguese league, which is already in trouble financially. And who watches the Portuguese league? I'm amazed that Sam and Chris and Danny, you guys are still watching because you're from the US, the UK, and you second generation. They're in trouble because it's not a good product like the Premier League. Who watches a Liverpool playing against the Wolves? It's everyone. It's worldwide, but you're not going to see people watching Sporting against Paços de Ferreira worldwide. It's not going to happen because the quality of the show itself, it's not good. With 43 fouls, it takes away fans from other countries and other leagues. The interest will be minimized. So the Portuguese league has a lot to lose when we have a referee like Narciso. He shouldn't be a referee at all. He should be banned from. He should be shown as this is what you should not do. You should never do this way, this style of refereeing from Narciso. Bad example. Don't do it this way. He should be allowed to be shown in a training camp of new referees as a bad example. He was terrible in this game. And I'll throw Godinho, and I'll throw all the other silly referees we have in the Portuguese league. I don't want to take too long on this, but in Portugal's our referees, they suck because they don't sempre they stop the game too much, and it takes the beauty of the game because it's a contact game. a 50-50 play. Sometimes, yeah, you're going to touch each other on the foot, on the leg, on the knee, but it's supposed to be. If that's not the way it is, let's not even play the game. So a very minus on the on Narciso with 43 fouls. With 7 yellow cards. No, 8 yellow cards. 8 yellow cards he showed, and it could have been easily even more if somebody didn't tell him something. I think somebody told him like fucking take it easy. Maybe the linesman or the fourth referee said, you got to take it easy because you're out of control. To wrap it up, I think the problem with the Portuguese referees, they love authority. Epá, não podes falar assim comigo, senão eu mostro cartão amarelo ou vermelho, meu. That's the problem with our Portuguese referees. They're not. I've seen enough Premier League games that the referees, they have more intelligence and they listen more to the captains. That's why you're a captain. And they dialogue with them. Hey, just take it easy next time. Tell your your fellow shipmates. Players to take it easy. I'm talking Navy terms now. Tell them to take it easy on the next play, this and that. And that's why you have coaches as well. You can talk to them, and give such advice. So I'm a big fan of the Premier League. I watch their games, and I don't like any team in particular. I don't. I love Sporting. That's it. I don't have any preference in the Premier League. But I do watch the games because it's actually awesome to watch a good soccer game from the Premier League. And I wish the Liga NOS was that way, but we're not even close to that because our referees simply suck.
Yeah, exactly. And just quickly on that point, there was also 2 yellow cards on either bench. I don't even know who it went to because they were saying something on the bench. I mean, us Sporting fans know Ruben Amorim can't speak without getting a red card either. So yeah, agreed, Steph. Agreed. Sam, let me pass it off to you. What are your thoughts on this game as well? Seeing especially that we stopped a 9-game unbeaten streak from Paços de Ferreira. Paços de Ferreira, who, I mean, aside from us, who, I mean, we should be title contenders every year, but we're not. But aside from us, they're really the sensation of this season. What were your thoughts on this game today?
Well, I maintain that they still play really good football. I like the way how they pass it. They seem to keep possession very well. They did have more possession than us, but not by a lot. But I think they're just a fun team to watch. I've not really had the time to watch a lot of Liga NOS bar sporting this year, but some of the games I've tuned in to them. I know your boys there, Danny, the Canadian, the Portuguese, or whatever you want to call him. But I'll tell you what, he's a baller. Doesn't matter where he comes from. He's very good.
Yeah,
and
facts.
I mean, I wish we would have signed him when he was at Chaves. I think he went to Mexico. Is that right?
Yeah.
He went to Cruz Azul. Yeah,
and he got hurt badly. Yeah.
He tore an ACL.
Immediately tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
But like he's a great player. The coach has done well, but in terms of the actual game, I know Steph said it when he came into the chat before we went live, but it's like I've never had the feeling in all my years of watching Sporting that I've been comfortable with 2-0.
Yep.
We've been 3-0 up. I think must have been about 4 years ago now. We were 3-0 up against, was it Setúbal? We drew 3-3. Like even 3 goals up, I was never like, oh, it's safe. We went 2 up.
I think there was both. It was Guimarães and it was also Setúbal. I remember Evinho tearing us up one game after we were leading comfortably.
That might have been in the Taça de Liga or Taça de Portugal that we might have lost to Setúbal. That's the one that sticks in my head the most. But it's like I've never thought about it. But then we went 2-0 up and I was like, game's done. They're a good side, but we played so well, and that's testament to Amorim and the Warriors we have on this team. But I was working through most of the game, but I did watch it on a second screen. But I thought João Mario played well. I know we've been criticising him a lot, but in terms of just leading the team, I thought he was great. It was a cool converted penalty too. Adan as well, I thought he was solid. I think Chris has said it before, he needs to work on his kicking sometimes. Sometimes when the ball goes back to him, I do get scared of where it's going to go. But in terms of all the team in general, you said it earlier, Danny, it's a team of warriors. The morale of the team and like the cohesion of it is fantastic. I think this is why we're so good. It's not because of individual talents. I think it's just the team in general. And I've been seeing the chat go past as we're speaking. How we ever like sent Paulinho away instead of buying Dumbia and like using Battaglia and all these other players. Paulinho was right there the whole time, and he is so good. He changed this team so well, and even I saw it as well. Nuno Mendes in the 4th or 5th minute getting that yellow card was stupid even. And I think that's just down to immaturity. He's still young. I think that will come with time that he'll learn. But I think just in general, every time I play, I'm impressed with Amorim. I'm impressed with someone new. I think we're just really like we're good. We are good. We've got great players. We've got a great team. We've got a great team spirit. We've got a great manager. And I just think we can't blow it now. 10 points ahead. If we blow it, and I know we can because it's Sporting, and we've faced so much heartbreak before, but we can't. We surely can't. But just to finish up, I want to just comment off the back what Steph said about George Jesus and his very good acting of diving. But I think for him, for George Jesus to be saying that when he's managed players such as Nico Gaitan, Salvio, Servi, Jonas. I think he managed Jonas for, was it a season or was that after? But
I think it was a
season or two, yeah.
And like Cardozo, all these players that got points for Benfica and scored goals because of diving, and that when I saw it, it actually annoyed me because.
But what was it? What was a big difference back then? It's a good point that you bring this up. Actually, I'm glad you brought it up. What was the difference back then?
No
Tinha
VAR.
fruta, caralho.
Yeah, no, Sam got it. No VAR. The VAR is causing a lot of problems for corrupt teams like Porto and Benfica because they can no longer be shady. I'm not saying every Portista and Benfiquista is shady. No, by all means, not at all. I know enough Portistas and Benfiquistas, they are honest people, and they just want their team to win on the pitch. But the vast majority, if they can win by corruption, that's what they'll pick. They'll choose that. And it's a proven fact now that since the VAR came about, it's been a lot more difficult for shady teams to win games. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, definitely. But I agree with everything you said. Like, it needs to change no matter who the team is. But that just it reminds me of Porto sort of complaining about referees. It's like you had them on your payroll for so long, and now you want to complain about referees. So when it suits you, so when it suits George Jesus and this excuse to use, he pulls it out and he's because there's so much diving. It's like, but that's pretty much how his teams in the early 2010s were based around. Were players like Eduardo Salvio, Gaitan, and all these players. Let's be real. The South Americans, he brought a lot of them. That's what their game style was: fall to the floor and scream and get the points. But I mean, it does need to change for every team. The VAR point is a great point you said, Steph. But other than that, I think 10 points is massive. If you think about it in terms of games, that's 3 losses and a draw. So basically, Porto and Benfica can't drop points anymore. That's pretty much how it goes, and neither can we. We can drop, like I said, the 3 games we've got, but we don't want to ever give them any advantage because as soon as Benfica or Porto, I know what you said, Steph, that Porto's team isn't great, but as soon as they see that slip up, you know they're going to go full pelt, especially Conceição, especially even Braga. Braga hate us. Braga in the games we played, I know they have their beef with Porto too, but in the games that they played, that they have tried to kill us. They've tried to give every advantage they can. But I think we need to just stay on course. I know we've got Portimonense next game and the game after Porto. And these are 2 important games. I know Portimonense shouldn't seem tough, but we have to treat every game the same. I don't care if we play Benfica or Portimonense or Porto. Every game needs to win. I don't care how good the team is or how bad they are. The bad games is usually what trips us up. But hopefully, the current form we're on, I can't see us losing. So hopefully we carry on. But what a game today. I was thoroughly impressed and I knew we were going to win. But credit to the team.
Agreed. I said that perfectly, Sam. Chris, last but not least, what were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it was a game where it just felt like it was like a low-key domination, right? Obviously, Paços had some juice, had 1 or 2 chances, before the 2-0. But it always felt like we were in control. We got our goal in the first half. The second goal, there's never a bad. That's like one of the most, like, I feel like that's like right before half and right after half. Right after half, whatever that team talk was, it's in the past locker room, just immediately went out the window. And it was a great goal by Palhinha, by the way, it must be said. Banger. And yeah, it made it. We never looked back from there. It was a comfortable win against a good team. And in the light, or in the topic of what Sam was saying, 10 points, so that's 4 games, right? There's 15 games left.
That's 3 games.
Well, we would have to lose 4 games to get 10 points. Yeah. So there's 15 games left, so that means there's 11 more, right? Just do it 11 more times, right? And we're champions. That's all I have to worry about. But and it's like, if you count the Porto game, the Portimonense game, if we win both of those games, the lead is now like potentially 13, right? And now there's 9 games left. So now it's like the math of that. It's like there's only like, you maybe only have to do it like after that, like 7 more games. Like this could be.
And on top of that, this is our only competition, so it's not like we're spreading the squad thin either in like Europe or TAS.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm jealous of the teams. It feels
sure.
like we could easily have the squad depth to compete in the European knockout rounds right now.
Yeah,
agreed.
So I am jealous. It would be fun to play Arsenal right now. It's like, I'm jealous of them. But it's like, I guess, might as well take advantage of it, right? It's like there's 15 games left. 11 more wins and they're champions. It doesn't matter what anything else happens.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was thinking about that today. I was actually, calculating, in my head, so 10 points, 12 points, 13 points, 11 points, 13 points, 4 games. So we technically just need 11 victories. I was thinking that way too. But I do agree with
getting guards of honor the last couple games. A guard of honor at the luge.
That would be phenomenal.
Especially in the Stadio Luge.
Oh, yeah. But I agree with Ruben Amorim. The most important game is Portimonense. That's the way I've been thinking too. Portimonense. If you see me on social media, I don't say much because I don't want to jinx it, like Sam said. But the most important game is Portimonense, and that's all I'm thinking about now. It's Saturday at 3:30 our time, 8:30 your time, Sam. It's Portimonense. Let's win against Portimonense. Let's prepare the game against Portimonense, and that's it. And it's at home again, so.
Agreed. Yeah. Just quickly on this Richard point, running the numbers. It's always funny because I think it was even last year on the podcast. I think it was Nando that said it, where Sportingistas are always the greatest mathematicians when it comes to, we got to, this many points to recover first place or second place to Champions League, and now we're finally mathematicians when it comes to winning the league. So it's a great change of pace, at least. It's a lot less stressful.
I mean, and the math, right? So the math, if they keep dropping points, the magic number for us gets smaller and smaller if we keep winning, So it's like they're going the other way and we're going this way. It's like it's trending to be done before 11 games, but 11 games is 11 games. I mean, could be 9, could be 8 if they just keep tanking, but just take care of our business in our games. Yeah, I think these next 2, direct competition, our biggest threat to the title, and the trap game in between.
Yeah, okay, exactly. And as Amorim said right after the game, Liverpool, European champions, Premier League champions, in the last 10 games have 9 points. So at the same time, I agree with exactly what he's saying. If Liverpool can only make 9 points after 10 games, little old Sporting can do the same. So it's still same focus, game by game. But holy shit, it feels good knowing that we're just 11 games away. Holy shit.
The motivation is completely different. This team realizes that deep inside, they do know that it's been 19 years that Sporting hasn't won the title. And when you look at the way Ruben Amorim built the team, it's players that basically were rejected by once upon a time by the big teams. Nuno Santos, let's be real, he came from Benfica, and he was rejected by Benfica. But Ruben Amorim, all the players that we got, Ruben Amorim said yes, but he knew how much they were motivated, how thirsty they were to show to the world how good they are. Because if Sporting next year says, you know what, fuck it, let's just sell the team, we're gonna make a lot of money. We will make a lot of money, you know. So with that said, I gotta tell you, the motivation from our team, and like Sam said and Chris said, and you too, Denny, we solid. Everyone plays defense. It's not the defense playing defense. It's the whole team playing defense. And that's why we're winning games, because this team understands how to play Liga NOS and understands what it takes to win the title of Liga NOS. So if we keep humble and we keep playing the way we're playing, I have no doubts that we'll be champions of Portugal if nobody loves it. Aí é que está a merda. It's so far so good. The VAR will never be a 100%. They're not in 100% in the Premier League or the German League, but they've actually been in favor of the truth of the beautiful game of soccer. And I love the VAR at this point in time because they have the balls to cancel PKs when it's bullshit PKs, and cancel goals when they're offside by 1 centimeter. I don't give a shit. It's offside. It's offside. So I'm loving it. Because the corruption now is not striving anymore. It's non-existent, almost.
Yep.
Except for the game of Porto with 2 PKs.
Some slips through the cracks.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to quickly add on the thing that you said in terms of everybody defending. It literally is. I know, Sam, you have a lot of hate towards Tiago Tomás, and I also understand the hate as well. But when it comes to pressing, when it comes to even on the attack on the front foot, Tiago Tomás is always there. Tiago Tomás today made me tired, and I was just watching him from my fucking couch. There was especially, and there was a play from Nuno Santos who even chased down the goalie, and of course the goalie got the better of him. But if the goalie fucks that up, that's 3-0 for Sporting there. It's exactly what Steph said. It's not only the defense defending, it's not only just the midfield, it's everybody full pressing, and it's lovely to see. And I'm a whore for a good 3 at the back, so just the Ruben Amorim football is just so enticing to me. Last thing on this game, I just want to ask you guys your man of the match. I'm not actually sure who got the official man of the match here on Who Scored. It was João Palhinha. Okay, so Palhinha also on Who Scored got it. I'm going to give it also to Palhinha, but a special mention to Pedro Porro, I think, who played very well today. The cross to the corner came from Pedro Porro. I believe the corner also came from Porro. I could be wrong there. But yeah, I'm going to give it to Palhinha. Sam, what about you, dude?
I'm going to go a bit different. I'm not going to give it to one player. I'm going to give it to every player who played, because I genuinely think that is a team performance. I mean, everyone played well, and Palhinha scored, but even like you said, Tiago Tomás, right? I don't have an issue with him in general or his work rate, because it is incredible. The only problem I have is with his finishing, and that is what annoys me, and his decision making at times. But he's still young. But even today, he, like you said, he does not stop running, and he works hard. He gets fouled all the time, and that's what we need. But today, the man of the match goes to everyone, including like the technical staff and like even our boy Emmanuel Ferro, who just seems to be a ghost and pops up every now and then. Give it to him as well. But I think it was legit team performance. Give everyone man of the match. It was fantastic.
Fair. How about you, Christian?
I am. It's like Palhinha is the obvious choice. Porto is also a good one. No, I thought Pedro Gonçalves also, him and Paulinho were kind of linking up well. They're kind of getting there. It feels like they're close. or getting closer at least. I'm gonna give it to a Dan though. I feel like it's like
that save at 1-0 was huge.
That's the biggest save he's had in like 3 months. So I'm gonna give it to a Dan. They're talking in the Spanish papers about him getting called to the Spanish national team at 33. Revived his career, baby. A Dan. Yeah, it's I'm happy for him.
Same. Especially because there was a lot of critics when he came, myself included, who thought we should stick with our young guy Luis Max instead. But
I never doubted the boy.
You never doubted him.
No, I said. Remember, everyone was hating on me because I said Max is not good enough to be our number one, and everyone was and I was like, Danny's a good signing with experience. I think me and Steph were the ones who said it. He's got the experience of like being back up to like Oblak, and I think he was back up to Casillas at one point.
Mm-hmm.
You've just got the experience, and like, I mean, I hate to be that guy, but I didn't doubt him. So
I hold my hands up. I was wrong. How about you, Steph?
Yeah, I agree with Sam. It's the whole team. The MVP, it's Sporting Portugal, the team, the coaching staff. I cannot just give it to one player. And then at one point when Casillas was being kind of kicked out of Real Madrid, he was actually starting for Real Madrid. It was around that time. And then he went to Atletico Madrid, and he was a backup for Black. So I knew Aden was a good goalkeeper, because I saw him play enough times for Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. And he's good, really good with his feet, his composure, his demeanor, the confidence he gives to the defense. So it was a nice addition to Sporting, not putting Max down at all. But Max, you could see at times he would kind of freak out with certain plays, and he would get our defense a little bit anxious. So the experience he brings and the confidence he brings to the team, it's enormous, and you could see it. Him, Coates, Fidal, and let's not forget that Aden didn't know Coates, Aden didn't know Fidal, Aden didn't know Inacio or Neto, and they have a great chemistry and communication, and that's key to have a great defense, and it shows. We only suffered 10 goals so far, with the best defense in Portugal, and it has a lot to do with the confidence and communication. If you have those two together, confidence, communication, chemistry between the goalie and the defense, most likely you'll have a shot of winning the championship.
Yeah. And to steal from our fellow Lion, Tom Kundert, I think all of us English-speaking, Portuguese-based, on Twitter at least, know of him, obviously Portugal. To steal from his words, to go on to yours and Sam's point, Steph, and Christian's, he says solid rather than spectacular tonight by the Lions, which is exactly that. We were solid. We weren't spectacular, but it was a perfect team performance, and that's exactly what we needed to respond after 2 draws from our rivals. Again, not dropping points when our rivals drop points, which is huge because we typically do.
Yes, that's the difference. I'm glad that you brought it up, and I won't take too long. Ed, in the past, and Sam was correct when he said what he said a little while ago, we wouldn't take advantage of the slip-ups from Porto and Benfica. And the big difference this year, we did. We are. Yeah. Exceptions for the Famalicão game, but that goal was stolen from us. I keep on going back
to it.
Because the Porto game, I'll accept it, because the way we played and Porto played, the tie was actually a good fit for that game, even though the PK should have been called. But and one other thing, I heard Estácio speaking, and he speaks Portuguese real well.
He grew up in Portugal. I believe he was born in Leamington, Ontario. Shout out to Leamington, Ontario. I don't even know where the fuck that is.
It's in Canada.
He was born there, and I think at like 6. I know, but I mean, like, it's in my province. I just don't know. I think it's like towards like where Manitoba is. Anyways, he moved to Portugal at like 6, 7 years old. So obviously his Portuguese is spectacular. His English is pretty shit. to be honest.
I didn't know that.
But in my eyes, he plays for Team Canada. I currently, after the 20, listen, Portugal gave me everything they could at 2016. So thank you, Portugal. I love you. You're my number 2 national team squad. Canada's just way too promising right now. So I got to fuck with Canada. And to my eyes, Stocky's Canadian. So, but his Portuguese, yeah, he grew up in Portugal. And I hope he's a Lion soon. Moving on to our next point. Sort of hinted at it earlier. We have to talk about it. And Christian, I'll start off with you because I have yet to start off with you today. It's about it's family ties. It's about Ruben Amorim's father-in-law, if I'm not mistaken, Antero Henriques. A lot has come out on the news that he helped us not only get Ruben Amorim, but he almost helped us get Taremi. You actually pulled up a tweet that I believe you did earlier in the summer in August that we were trying to steal Taremi and double his wages. Of course, Antero Henriques is he has a very negative past, if you will. In the golden years with the golden whistle of Porto, he was actually in PS. Father-in-law, yes. Brother-in-law. Sorry, brother-in-law. 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 That's interesting. Anyways, yeah, he was also in PSG. I found out he was in PSG for the same year that they bought Neymar and Mbappe and escaped financial fair play. I don't know if they have anything to do with each other, but what are your thoughts on everything that's been coming out with Antero Henriques, and obviously a better recap because I'm still not exactly sure of what this whole polemica is with him helping out.
I'm not so sure that the polemic. I think the polemica is more so that like a Pito Dourado era Porto admin is now trying to help Sporting. Like I think that is the story in itself.
But that didn't happen.
I mean, we don't. There's really been no evidence to or for the contrary.
No, I'm kidding. Portisha say it never happened. It never happened.
I thought you were talking about.
No, I thought you were talking about. It never happened. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
It didn't happen.
Yeah, he was the head of the Porto side during that time when that didn't happen. So yeah, so I guess the transfers that are like in question here are the Ruben Amorim, Nuno Santos, Paulinho. Is there any other ones?
Pot.
Not that I know.
Pot.
That's what it was. Yeah, Pot. Yeah. I mean, here's the most sensationalist version of the story. It's like he's using Sporting to prove to Porto that he's going to get Sporting to the top so that he can ride in back to Porto on the white horse as the hero.
Yeah.
So if we get to be champions so that he can be the president of Porto, that deal, but I don't really get how him, maybe pulling some strings and some transfers and then getting like $300K cut. I don't really know how that proves that he saved Sporting. He's just one of the many, many people, agents, a lot of them agents, just guys behind the scenes who are just taking their cut on these transfers and getting their hands in there. I was talking to, you guys probably know him from Twitter, Siberian Weinvern, goat of shit like this. Sporting's like the fees that they pay on transfers since the Varandas era, those fees have gone up a lot, and it's not always clear where all the money is going. So if some of the money was going to this guy because he's got some connections or whatever, would it shock me? No, it wouldn't shock me at all, because that's the kind of business we do here now.
Yeah, but that's the way it is. If you want to get some players, some good players, that's the way it is.
So yeah, it's not that crazy. Honestly, it's not that crazy. Even the worst version of it isn't that crazy. It seems like pretty standard to me. Do I think it's gross that these guys do this? Yeah, I think it's gross, but like it happens on like every transfer, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it, at least. Unless some more stories come out, but based on the information presented right now, that's what I think.
Steph, how about you? Because even when I was asking about it in our little group chat, and I'll quote you. You said, "O Antero is very, 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 very corrupt." So, what are your thoughts with him dealing with Sporting right now?
Okay, so
Potentially or allegedly, I don't know
Of
what
course.
the word is.
So back in the 80s and the 90s, we didn't have the VAR. Everything was done behind closed doors, behind the sceneries. Everything you could actually talk to Godinho or Mota and bribe them, and no one would find out. In the era we live in today, it's very difficult because everyone has a cell phone. So everyone is tapping on somebody's cell phone. You have technology, social media. So it's a lot more difficult to make corruption deals one-on-one, face-to-face. You have to use a third person, and even back in the days, he still did. So now it's all about. Uh, let's say you and I, we want to corrupt Sam. He's the next referee for the Sporting Portimonense game. We'll have to find a very creative way to reach out to him to say, hey, if you make this game go our way, we'll pay you 3,000 euros. Back in the days, it was a lot easier. In today's day and age, I cannot be directly talking to Sam. It's going to have to be little Jimmy. I don't even know who the fuck he is because you, Danny, will be the one setting up the whole thing. And that's why it becomes funny. And Antero Henrique Antero was good with that shit back in the days called Pitorado. Now it's a lot more difficult, but he built his reputation, and at Paris Saint-Germain, he did an okay job. So he has a lot of connections. Now, what he's doing for Sporting, he's not only doing for Sporting, it's called his job. So he needs to make money to provide for his family. That's his job. So if he's able to get Sporting some players, he's getting players for Paris Saint-Germain and other teams as well. It's not only Sporting, but the thing that Chris brought up, and it was a good point, and it made me laugh because I saw it on the news too, and all over the Portuguese papers. It's actually Portuguese, they eating up this shit. They really think that he's doing this to put Porto in the fourth place, like he said it on some newspapers, so you can be doing Fonseca in the White Horse and can save Porto. And they're eating up this shit. They Portistas, they must have the intelligence of a little baby donkey. They actually believe in this. They actually believe in all this, and they think this guy wants to be the president of Porto. When we all know that PDC
honestly, what Alf Rishav said in the chat that this is like a hit to, because it's like to smear his name if he runs for Porto. It's like, oh, this is the guy who's helping Sporting. In theory, that's like a hit on him. It's like if the Porto fans are eating it up, it's like whoever made this hit, it's like failing,
Yeah, big time. Because PDC, until he dies, he's still going to be reelected because he won 20-some titles via corruption. I will emphasize that, via corruption. So they will vote him again and again and again and again. There's no way that Antero will win the elections. But to me, in a nutshell, to wrap it up, so Sam can be next and give his 2 cents. He didn't do anything wrong. What he did is called a business, and he helped Sporting this time, like other agents help Sporting. He's not the only one helping Sporting. Like other agents help Benfica, like other agents help Porto, Guimarães, Braga, Portimonense, Feirense, and so on and so on and so on. That's called doing his job, and nothing was done via corruption. It was big news because he came from Rui Pinto, and Rui Pinto now is the sensation of the Portuguese news. Anything he says, it comes from the Bible. It looks like. Everything he says is the truth. And sometimes he's
to be fair, it usually is.
Well, yes and no. In this aspect, He just threw some shit against the wall to see if it did stick, and it kind of did, in a sense. But what he said was nothing wrong. What is he doing wrong? What is he doing wrong? Because he's helping Sporting?
No, he's not doing anything wrong. It's like an eyebrow. It's like these are the guys you're choosing to hang out with. It's just like an eyebrow raiser. That's really about it.
I mean, let me ask you something. Let's say I'm your uncle, okay?
There's that aspect of it too. It's like just helping his family type.
Exactly.
Like,
and I own a very successful business. And Sam calls me and say, "Hey, Uncle Steph, could you hook me up with a job?" Okay, Sam, I'm gonna hook you up with a job. But you're gonna have to stop smoking weed and shit. That's more towards Danny. But, and and then you got it. But I'm gonna help you. Like I help my nephews if they need help with some advice, they call me. Hey, Tio, what do you think I should do? That's what he's doing. He's both married sisters, by the way. So Ruben Amorim
married his sister.
No,
he married Ruben Amorim's sister.
No. Both are sisters, and they married the two sisters.
So their wives are sisters.
Yes, the wives are sisters.
Oh, okay, got it.
The wife are sisters.
I thought you meant their sisters married each other. I was like, oh, really? Nice.
Anyway, let's move on from that. That's not a conversation for today. They're making fun of me, Uncle Steph.
Wait, let me put up another one. Uncle Steph.
But jokes aside, I mean, there's nothing abnormal with that helping your family member. What the fuck?
Yeah, they need something, So this is what they came up with.
Exactly. When you're down 13 points and 10 points, one is petitioning for Palhinha to see what's going on, and the other one is saying that Antero is helping us. There's corruption when he's a family member. What the fuck? I mean, score your PKs, for God's sake.
I mean, if they're saying that Antero is corrupt and he's helping us, but no real evidence in terms of corruption, is that not Portistas admitting that they were once corrupt?
Well, if being associated with him is corruption by default, then he worked there for 15 fucking years.
In the pinnacle of their success. So
Hey, listen. Not too long ago on Twitter, I was sometimes Patrick Couto, and I know Danny saw it. He plays around and stuff when that player he joined a team with the Sporting. No, a team in Brazil has the same symbol as Sporting.
Only it's in blue, yeah.
Yeah. And then he said, it's going to take them 20 years. And then I said, well, not really. Just tell them to call you guys. And you guys will give them some tips like in the 80s and 90s in the Pitorado. And he answered back, fuck yeah, why not? He kind of admitted that corruption exists in this club. And I didn't even answer back because I'm like, okay, he kind of admitted. O Patrick Couto, que é Portista Ferreira, he admitted that his team is corrupted on Twitter. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to shut the fuck up because I'm satisfied. He kind of admitted. But Portistas, when you push the buttons, towards the end of any argument, they'll say, o que interessa ganhar, mesmo que seja a corrupção. And that's when they fall on their face because they're admitting it that they actually won by a corruption, which they did. Go to fucking YouTube. You just have to go, Google Pinta Costa, a Pitorado. You have a library dedicated to Football Club Porto corruption.
Yeah.
It's like season 1, season 2, season 3. Let me see, 80s, 90s. It's like 20 seasons. Yeah.
And shout out to my boy Patrick. He's like a brother to me. I grew up with him. He also says that because ele também já tá farto de ouvir essa merda.
I know, but listen.
Mas ele está farto de ouvir essa merda. Portanto, ele aceita e that's it.
I get it, but when you say that Sporting is winning because of the help of the referees, what the fuck do you expect? We're going to bring it back. So don't say that. Don't tell me, Sporting is winning because he's getting the calls from referees. I'm going to go back to Pitorado. I'm going to go back to emails e Tupeda. The fuck? Don't say that then. If you don't bring it up.
It's that meme going around on Twitter, the Yu-Gi-Oh card with the Piturado. It's literally just that.
If you don't
I
bring,
created that, by the way. Just
oh,
saying.
you did. Oh, good
people
job.
don't give you your credit, bro.
Human.
Listen, if you don't bring it up that Sporting is being helped by corruption and this and that, then I won't bring up Pitorado emails, E2Pay and all that stuff, and vouchers and all that stuff. I won't bring it up. And don't talk to me about cash ball, and then I find out that you don't even pay attention to modalidades, because that's most of the portistas do Benfica. Falam no cash ball, e quem foi o campeão? Quando é que foi o Benfica campeão aqui em Patins? I don't know. The fuck? You don't even follow them. So why would you be concerned about that?
Exactly. Yeah. Facts. And we were already proven innocent a long time ago. But anyway, Sam, if you have any fleeting thoughts also on this Antero Henriques situation.
I just have a tiny bit to say, and this is literally just from about 20 minutes of research I did this morning. So, this guy who's so corrupt, has helped Sporting corrupt, guess who played a very, very big part of signing Danilo Pereira from Porto to PSG this season? Oh, it was him. Do you guys hear any word of that? No. He was also in talks in last January and June as Man United sporting director. He was given a task, as I'm scrolling down, on the 11th of June, apparently, to sign Tolisso from Bayern Munich to Man United. Is that mentioned? No. Why is it mentioned? Because Sporting are first. If Sporting were in fourth or fifth with Paulinho and these guys absolutely flopping, do we hear any of it? No, of course not. Sporting are winning. Sporting are doing well. They need to think of anything to bring us down. And it is true. You can call me deluded, biased, whatever. Give me a reason. There's nothing illegal. Is it a bit, okay, fine. But he's done it with Porto, PSG, Man United, and he doesn't work for any of those clubs at all. I know he used to work for PSG, but I think he left in 2019 or 2018. So you can't bring all of this to Sporting when he does it for literally the two of the biggest teams in the world, Man United and PSG, especially the Danilo Pereira one, which you can search that, by the way. I'm not making that up. Search it on Google. You'll find the first article was.
It's like how could he not be? How could he have not been involved? It's like he just worked there. Like this is his club. A big deal goes down. These guys just get their hands. They see opportunities.
And it was a loan for a like. I'm not gonna lie, Danilo Pereira is a fantastic player. Portuguese international when he was an integral part of Porto's success for the last 5 years. He was a rock in their midfield. Does no one find it a little shady? He went on loan. Porto's best player on loan. Was he? He was their captain as well, I think, or vice or something. Went on loan for pretty much nothing to PSG. That's not shady, 21. But no, because it's not Sporting, it's not shady. But like I said, these guys can talk, but. In the midst of all of this, we just beat Paços de Ferreira 2-0. So it's not affecting the team. It's not affecting morale. You know, if they're going to find, I don't know, the cleaner used to be a Benfica fan, they're going to make a story out of it. So who gives a fuck, really? Just let us play. Let us play. Let us do our thing. There's no corruption. I mean, it's just how it is. But just let us play, man.
Yeah, that's all it is, Sam. You got it. You hit it on the head of the nail. There's no corruption. It's just the guy is making some money. So what? What the fuck? Hugo Viana called him and say, hey, can you hook me up with this, with that? They do it all the time. How the fuck was the deal? Did we strike the deal with Paulinho? He had to call Salvador or his counterpart at Braga. It's the same deal that goes on. So it's
George Mendes for Benfica.
Yeah.
Selling Joel Felix for 120 million euros, and of course he gets a bit of that. Is that mentioned? No.
Yeah, Carousel. The thing is, they need to make noise because they having a very, very poor season, and the saving grace for Porto Benfica is going to be, you know what? Taça de Portugal.
Yeah,
that's it. Taça de Portugal.
And that's if they win that.
Wow.
They'll play each other in the final, probably.
I mean, Benfica got the final. Benfica's going to get the final. I mean, they won in 3-1.
3-1, yeah.
I mean, unless they play against Braga in the final, then they lose.
You have to look at Benfica in the Europa League as well. They've still got a strong team, and I mean, Arsenal are obviously no slouch. They've been in good form, but are Benfica that much worse? And Benfica in European competition, especially under George Jesus, they've gone far, especially in Europa League. You remember, I mean, we all joke about losing to the final against Chelsea, but they got there and they played well that whole competition. I mean, George Jesus that's his specialty. He did well for us in
The
Europe.
problem with Benfica, their Achilles is the defense. The
100%.
defense is you know who said that? Remember who said that? It was one of your guests. Who said that?
Our boy Con.
Con Murphy.
Yes, Con Murphy. He said it. Benfica will finish third or fourth. He
But
said
they've just signed a new centre back though from Santos. Verizimo, is that his name?
Yeah.
Verissimo, yeah.
So he could fix their issues. You never know.
It could, but
They've also bought a Verissimo for a few years now, and I mean he's fixed a lot of issues. If you know what Verissimo I'm talking about.
yeah, o Ferrari vermelho.
You already know. But yeah, facts. Don't sleep on Grimaldo, which is funny. Just mentioned here by Garrick. They love to mention how Grimaldo's the best left back in the league. He's been horrible for at least 2 seasons now. And I can't believe it.
He's like the 5th best left back in the league, maybe right now.
Listen,
I also can't believe how much they miss Andre Almeida.
yeah,
That is crazy. Andre Almeida.
Yeah. But listen, Andre, I'm not Benfiquista, but it's obvious. Andre Almeida and Ruben Diaz, they were the leaders of that locker room.
Yeah. Ruben Diaz is a huge loss.
Yeah. But Andre Almeida, it's what you call, it's the definition of being a Benfiquista. And he brought a lot of raça in that team. And Benfica, without those 2 guys, they don't have a leader. And if you look at Porto, they don't have a leader either. The leader for Football Club Porto, the one who's the crazy glue, is Sérgio Conceição. Once he leaves, Porto's going to be in trouble because they don't have a leader in the locker room. You look at the team itself; they don't have. We do. We actually have we have Neto, great leader. We have Coates, great leader. Aden, great leader. You know, when I say leader, someone that imposes respect. If Coates says, "Hey, shut the fuck up. We're gonna start practice," you'll see Tite, Bragança, Quaresma, and Inácio. They will shut the fuck up and follow their lead. But Porto doesn't have that. It's a bunch. Somebody said on Twitter, Benfica doesn't have a great team. They have a bunch of great players.
I agree.
And let it sink in, and it makes sense.
Agree.
Jorge Jesus, the biggest mistake he ever did was leave Flamengo. He was in paradise, winning titles.
Treated him like a god there.
Yeah, he should have stayed. He should have stayed. And Benfica, the biggest part, I don't want to talk about them, but the biggest mistake they made was letting Lage go.
Yeah. I think even with Porto, they have Pep, who's a great leader, but they don't have Danilo anymore. They don't have Paul Costas out here. They don't have Telj anymore. Sergio Oliveira isn't enough. He doesn't lead by example, at least on the pitch. I mean, he misses penalties, he hits the post.
A lot of these players from Porto, they gone in June because they didn't renew in January. Like
that too, and that's been a Porto problem for the last 2-3 seasons too.
Yeah,
they've let a lot of players go on a free.
Yeah, because a
lot of important players.
They're asking for a lot of money, so and Porto doesn't have it. They broke. They keep on talking about sporting finances. Benfica, they actually fucking broke as well. They talking about going back to the Formação for next year. And they want to lay off X amount of employees.
If they don't get in the Champions League next year, they are really going to be fucked.
Yeah.
Especially 100 million.
They're in the hole right now, and they would go even more in the hole.
100 million is what we know.
Yeah.
That's what the media knows. It's a lot more.
And I don't think that takes in what they paid for Jorge Jesus or what they're paying Jorge Jesus. That only takes in players.
It was a waste of fucking money, Jorge Jesus. They were better off with Bruno Lage. Personally, when he left, I was relieved. I'm like, oh, I'm glad he's gone because he had a vision. You could see how much potential the Benfica Academy had. The Benfica Academy went back to the fucking final of the youth league, and then they stopped betting on, which is good. Don't get me wrong, because now they're leaving like flies. One player just left because he didn't want to renew. I forget his name. He signed for a team from Hungary with the green shirt. It was on Twitter.
The striker, the young
Gomes.
striker.
Gomes, man. Gomes. Jose Gomes, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said no. He was on a podcast on Instagram or his Instagram live saying, eu não quero renovar com Benfica. And he left. Benfica sold him today. They let him go. It's just to see that Jorge Jesus, and I'll give that credit to Bruno. Well, we used to be good friends. Now we barely talk. But Bruno, o portista, he said that Jorge Jesus, he will destroy Benfica because he doesn't bet on the youth. He wants all known players, already made players. And look at the team now. They got great players, but everyone forgot they're going down the hill. It's players that used to be good. And our league is more competitive than the Turkish league and the Greek league. We're not in the same level as the MLS, Turkish league, because those leagues is more when you go for retirement. Our league is still very competitive. We're still in the top 5 leagues of Europe. So Benfica, the strategy sucked, and I'm glad because now they're in trouble financially, and I don't see them being champions for a few years. I think Jorge Jesus at the end of this summer, if he doesn't get even the 3rd place, I think he's going to be fired.
I agree.
I hope not.
I said this on my Twitter, and I stick by it. I mean, Rui Vitória and Bruno Lage were sacked for a lot less. I mean, Bruno Lage was in 2nd and he got sacked, a point or 2 away from the title still, and he got sacked. So, and like you mentioned in the Formação, I mean, we've seen it here. I think the most Jorge Jesus has ever used in the Formação was at Sporting, and that's only because Adrian, William Carvalho, Gelson, Ruben Smedo, etc. were already top players.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, after he came, that's when we started buying Brian Ruiz, Teo Gutierrez, Bruno Cesar, Bas Dost, etc. And mind you, okay, a few of them were good players for us. I'm not saying there weren't, but a lot of them were if not 30, about to hit 30. Most of them don't play in the teams now. Of course, William and all them also don't play for us, but that's a different situation that happened. But he never really looked to the Formação to really help us out. Maybe only with Daniel Podins is the only one I can really remember him, picking up from the academy.
Too, I think he was the one who gave Gelson the big break. I believe.
Maybe I think Marco Silva also. Maybe he gave him his bigger break and he played him more. I think Marco Silva might have played him though. I could be wrong though. But yes, nonetheless. Podins, Gelson Martins, he only really used the academy here because at his first stint at Benfica, I mean, he played Bernardo Silva at left back when, maybe he couldn't step ahead of Nico Gaitan for the starting 11, but Bernardo Silva can easily make the bench. He's not a left back by any means of imagination, right? But yeah, I agree. I hope he long live Jorge Jesus for this. Fique lá sempre, cara.
Oh man, you got to go to Facebook and you must follow JJ Beyonce, BOCE. Oh man, that guy he puts some good stuff, man. You got to follow the guy. I'm always cracking up every day. I pick the best time of the day in the morning when I wake up and I go to the bathroom and then I'm
JJ Boss is sick too. Last thing I'm just going to quickly mention, I'm not going to ask you guys' opinion because it does come from the Sun. Just Tiago Tomás is being linked to a move to Arsenal. We'll see what happens then. But until
Joelson was on the next jet to London from the Sun as well. Remember over the summer, Joelson, done deal. Agents finalizing agreement. He'll fly to London tomorrow. Fuck you, the Sun.
Just one for our viewers who aren't sure. If anything comes from the Sun or the Daily Mail, false.
Liverpool in for pot 70 million. That was Daily Mail. That was like 2 weeks ago. So that's definitely also legit.
And I think not only maybe it was 2 weeks ago as well, or 3 weeks ago, it was Porto was going to also join Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United, and it was Manchester United's next number 10, blah blah blah. So it's just rumors. So yeah, Steph, I'll pass it off to you, dude. Our world of modalidades. I'm wearing the futsal shirt today. What's up? What happened this weekend, bro?
Okay, Paul Costa said Insônia de Carvão is good too, apparently. With videos and fun stuff. And ball masculino. So the Sporting won against FC Gaia 29-18. And everybody knows by now we lost Frankie's Carol. So he no longer plays for Sporting after 10 years. So it was sad, but I understand. We all understand. He gave us 10 good years to champion for Sporting twice. Won the competition with us once, and he won the Taça Portugal 3 times. So thank you to him. He went to play in Qatar. It was a lot of money. He couldn't say no, and he's not getting any younger. So we'll miss him dearly. In the track and field, we basically won a bunch of medals. A total of 8 of our athletes became champions. So good day. Basketball, we finally won against Academic of Coimbra, 82-47. I mean, about time. Academic Coimbra, it's basically
needed a win. The basketball team needed a fucking win.
They need a fucking win. And if you didn't win against Academic Coimbra, which they have like an amateur team, we'll never win against anybody else. Futsal, we won 10-1 against Saint Joanense, and we won 9-0 against Esmais. The bad news is we lost Cardinal. He's got a really, really bad injury on his knee. I think it was his ACL. So he's done for the season. So that's bad news, especially when we're about to play the European competition in a couple of weeks. The ladies, we won 6-1 against Venda Luisa. So good job by the ladies. And ladies volley skates, Sporting won 3-2 away against Academic Coimbra. Good game. So we're still in the title race. In swimming, we won a bunch of medals. So congrats to our swimming team for both the ladies and guys. Volleyball, we lost against Benfica 3-2 at the Pavilion de Luz. It was a great game. I don't know if you guys know, but in volleyball, when you tie the game 2-2 and you go to the 5th game, which we call a negra, at that point we get a point. So instead of Benfica got 2 points and we got 1 point because we made them go to the 5th game. So that was good because the thing is we want to finish in 2nd place, so we don't get tough teams like Sporting Espinho e Fontes Bastardos. So even though we lost, that was important to get that 1 point. Then the following day, we won 3-0 against Castelo de Maia. Femininos, the ladies won 3-1 against Athletic VC. And we won 3-2. We lost 3-2 against Leixões, and we won 3-0 against Vitória SC. And that's all I got for modalidades.
Fair enough. All right, last but not least, let's go on to Saturday's game. As mentioned, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 GMT time for Sam and all my other Tugas out there, and everybody else from the UK, etc. We play Portimonense at home again because we did go 2 away. Now we're 2 at home. Portimonense, who are currently in last or in second last, I believe. They actually rose up the table. They're actually in 11th, 19 points. They actually beat Gil Vicente 4-1 this weekend or yesterday. Their last game prior to that was a 0-0 tie to Paços de Ferreira. They lost only 2-1 to Portimonense. They lost 2-1 to Boa Vista, tied 2-2 to Moreirense. That was their last 5 games. A decent team. Always a tough match against Portimonense. I'll start. I don't really see a reason to not be confident after everything we're going through. My dog, I don't know if you guys heard that whining. He might feel a little the other way. I think we're gonna win 3-1. What about you, Steph?
I think we're gonna win 2-0.
Agreed. How about you, Christian?
Paulinho goal for sure happening. 3-0 win. Comfortable. Tabata revenge game. Is going to come in and have another banger like he did that one time.
Book it. Let me put my money on Paulinho scoring right now, guys. How about you, Sam?
I think it's going to be a tough game. I think for where they are on the table, I don't think it suits them. They press very well. I think it's going to be another sort of Gil Vicente game. So for that reason, I'm going to say it's going to be probably that 1-0. But I also think Paulinho will get on the score sheet finally. And it will probably be something stupid like the 87th minute or the 89th minute, but we will win.
I agree. All right. That's number 99 in the books. Next podcast will be podcast 100. Guys,
And
I wouldn't want to do...
And we have a special guest.
We do have a special guest. Should we announce it?
We can, yes, of course.
Oh, it's confirmed?
Yes.
All right. Next week, join us. We will have João Castro with us. So it's going to be another great podcast as always. João is our guy. He's been on the podcast a few times, but he's going to be on again. And yeah, it's going to be good. This guy's saying topless number 100.
Maybe.
Listen,
Topless.
Tune in to find out. I've been hinting about an OnlyFans Sporting160EN account. So
you don't want to see
maybe.
my hairy nipples.
You can shave. You can shave for 100.
I'm gonna do that for. I'm gonna
on
do
the chest
for Jose Costa. I'm gonna do it for Jose Costa.
All right. So yeah, we'll see you next podcast for sure. Quick shout out to the guys. Simba, relax, buddy. I don't know if you guys hear him. This guy's winding up a storm.
He wants an appearance.
He wants to go outside.
He does want an appearance. Say hi. Talk.
Hey, hello.
Talk. Hey. There you go.
There.
Hey.
He sneezed.
Okay, relax. So, shout out to everybody in the chat. Our boy Rui, the real Alfrekenski. Shout out to Paul Costa. Shout out to our boy Down Under, Jose Costa, George, Juicebox Leal, Garrick Phillip, all the way from Poland, Lauren Jenks from the UK, Marcotu, Richard Neves from not too far from where I'm from, Paul Pont. Who else am I missing here? Jorge Perigoso. My boy Jorge, Revolt 4048, Andre Marques. Who else am I missing here? I think that's about everybody. Jose Pimenta, that's also who I wanted to shout out. Thank you for joining us. New York's finest was also here. No, Staten Island's finest. He was nice to us this week. He's New York's finest. He's back to being New York's finest. Shout out to him. Shout out to everybody in the comments on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Sporting160_EN, on Instagram and Facebook, Sporting160EN, Spreadshirt, Sporting160EN. Like we said, episode 100 is going to be topless, so OnlyFans, Sporting160EN. Another great one, boys. Thanks as always for joining us.
And subscribe on YouTube if you haven't subscribed.
And subscribe on YouTube. Yes, forgot. Sporting160EN.
So far 537, so it's good numbers. Yeah.
Yes, and me and Sam just checked the Bruno Carvalho numbers. We're 3.4K. I don't see why there's no other excuse to have this one at 3.4K. I don't know.
No, it's more. It's actually
more.
Yeah, it's actually.
Oh yeah, with the clips.
Yeah, with the clips. One of the clips, which is about Ruben Amorim, that alone has 400 views. So it's like over 4K. Yeah. So good job to all of you because you guys you pulled it off. So yeah.
To all of us and to our boy Bruno, of course.
But I have a feeling if we go topless the next podcast, we're gonna have a lot of views.
a million views at least.
I think we might get
at least. You haven't seen my chest yet. What do you mean canceled? This thing's sculptured, bro.
I might invite my cousin. She's good looking.
Anyways, guys, it's been real. That's 99 in the books, and 10 points clear, baby. Viva Sporting.
Viva.